What's going on, everybody? My name's Tim Williams. We're here to break down today's 6-game MLB DraftKings slate. If you're new to the channel, my name's Tim. We've been breaking down these MLB contests pretty much daily, focusing mainly on these main contests here. Today, we got 6 games here, a very interesting slate. We definitely have some pitchers with some ace-like price tags. We definitely have a few spots here where I think we can target as far as the bats go. Just a strange slate overall. I think this is going to be very low scoring, so pay attention to the pitching. And let's just jump right in. First game we have here is the Giants taking on the Phillies. 8.5 over under. Giants slight favorited here. Gausman taking on Anderson. I don't really love Anderson here pitching against the Giants, even though the Giants are 29th and 25th in on base percentage. Gausman at 6.6, I think is a fairly good price tag, and I think he should definitely be in consideration in your player pool. On the other side, on the Phillies, I think Phillies bats are going to go kind of low owned on this slate. I think people are going to be focusing more so on the Angels and the Dodgers. So Phillies could be a sneaky kind of stack, if you will. I definitely like guys like Harper, a clear pay up at 5.4K. That's so cheap. He's 5 for 12 with a home run against Gausman. Hoskins 4.5K, McCutchen leading off 4K, 3 for 5 with a home run against Gausman. Alec Boehm, if you want to, save some salary here and try to get up to the aces, 3.5K, I find very reasonable on this slate. For the Giants, it's really tough for me to get to their matchup. Their lineup. I really like their matchup against Anderson. Belt at 3.4K. He's going to have a big ownership tonight. You can even look at like Longoria as well. I think he has some power upside. Next here, we have the Cardinals taking on the Nationals. No clear favorite yet. 8 over under. Flaherty taking on Ross. Flaherty 8.5K. I think he's definitely viable and in play. To me, he's a little risky. I think the strikeouts are there, so the upside is definitely in play here. Sometimes he walks guys, and the Nationals are second in average, ninth in on base percentage. They're not really hitting home runs yet, but they're not striking out either. So that matchup actually intimidates me a little bit for Flaherty. So I'm probably going to stay away from him. Cardinals hitters against Joe Ross. Cardinals 23rd in average, 19th in on base percentage, 8th in home runs. Really not too bad. They're kind of hit or miss here. Ross is actually a pretty decent pitcher, maybe not so much for DraftKings purposes, but I think this is going to be kind of a lower scoring game. On the Cardinal side, Arenado definitely in play at 5.1K. DeJong, really cheap power upside at 3.8. Carlson, kind of just a flyer at 3.4K. I liked him when he was kind of like at that 2.9 range. And then Molina, I think, is a viable option at catcher at 4.4K if he's starting. And then on the National side, Soto, a clear pay up. He hasn't been really hitting the ball all that great. The ownership, I think, will be low on this one. So he definitely intrigues me there. Turner at 5.4, hit a home run yesterday. Bell at 4.2 and Harrison at 4.1K. I think there's some value there. But overall, I think this is kind of a risky spot. I think there's going to be a lot of good pitching in this one. But all those bats definitely in play. Next, we have the Rays at the Royals. I'm just going to say I'm not really interested in this game. 7.5 over under. The wind is blowing in like 15 miles an hour already in Kansas City, where it's harder to hit home runs. KC's favorited in this one. Fleming against Duffy. Fleming 7.2K. Not going to get there. Duffy at 7K actually is a very, very intriguing play. I think he lacks the strikeout upside, and to me, he's a little bit risky, but he's definitely being touted as one of the, favorite spend downs here. For the Rays, they're not really hitting the ball that well. They're striking out a lot. If anyone's in play, it'd be like a Yandy Diaz or Margot at 2.9K, just some cheap punt value. And then same with the Royals. Like, I'm not interested in paying up for anybody today, especially with that weather. But Soler always has the ability to hit out of the park, 3.3K, Benintendi as well. But I think I'm just going to stay away from this game. Next, we have the Rangers versus the Angels. Angels favorited here, 8.5 over under. Arihara, 5.7K. No, thank you. Going against Bundy at 7.7K. This is where I'm split here because I think Bundy is a decent pitcher, and I think he's priced a little bit too cheap on this slate. The Rangers are first in strikeouts, so that is really appealing to me. That's obviously really juicy. Bundy's definitely going to be high owned. That being said, Bundy has some troubles with left-handed bats. So I think overall Bundy could have a pretty good game because of the strikeouts. but the Rangers have that power upside, especially left-handed bats. So lefties like Gallo at 4.4, Lowe at 4.8K. I love them in this because they can actually hit the ball out of the park here. Dahl for salary saving at 3.4K, and Calhoun intrigues me a lot because 2.6K is not a lot to pay for. He's hitting the ball from the left side. He does not strike out as much as those other three guys, but those are the four I think that are in play. And then for the Angels side, really it's kind of just the Trout, Ohtani, Walsh, trio, the band, if you will. Upton, 3.7K, I think is fairly reasonable as well. But the Angels are third in average, eighth in on-base percentage. They're hitting home runs. They're at home. They don't strike out that much. So I can see you stacking up Angels in this one. The Rangers, Ari Hara is not going to strike a whole lot of guys out. Their bullpen stinks. So expect the ownership to be there, but probably for a good reason. And then next here we have the Brewers and the Padres. Padres home favorites. I'll be honest with this one too. I think this is more of a pitching matchup. I don't really think that the hitters are very much in play in this one. 6.5 implied over under total. Don't love that at all when it comes to the bats. I haven't seen a matchup this low in runs in a while. Woodruff against Musgrove. We all saw what Musgrove did. He threw that no-hitter. Very impressive stuff. He's actually, taking those steps to becoming that ace type of guy, but I don't think he's quite there yet. Woodruff, also very good pitcher too. He doesn't walk a lot of guys, and he has strikeout upside as well. I like both of these pitchers in this spot, despite Woodruff pitching against the Padres, ninth in average, third in on-base percentage. And the Brewers hitting flat out stink, but the guys I like, some of those lefty bats, Jackie Bradley Jr. at 3.5K, I think is reasonable. Shaw, I probably wouldn't get to, but he's in play. Navarez at catcher, 3.9K, could be kind of lower owned with some of the other catchers on the slate. And then on the other side, Cronenworth's probably the only bat on the Padres I would spend on at 3.8K. Obviously, you have Tatis and Machado, but low implied run total. It's tough to get to. I like the aces in this one, or the pitching. Next, last but not least, 8.5 over under. You got the Dodgers taking on the Mariners. Dodgers in this very juicy matchup against Sheffield, who can be wild at times, walk a lot of guys, and may striking guys out, really turning into the pitcher that we all, want out of him. The curly red-haired man, he's just on fire this time, this season so far. Dodgers bats are on fire. Everything's just kind of looking the Dodgers' way in this one. In play for sure. Betts, Turner, Smith, Taylor, and then even taking a flyer on Noose at 2K, the flat minimum salary. Basically anybody hitting on the right side of the plate today against Sheffield, I am into. It's going to be tough to get to some of those Dodgers bats. That's why I may be looking at, like a Bundy or, some salary saving pitcher. It's really the only way to get you there, but I could be wrong. But those Dodgers bats very, very much in play for me. And then on the Mariners side, you have really only two options, I think, Haniger in France. I wouldn't try to get too cute with this one. This is a really tough slate. But really, it's those Dodgers, those Angels. I think the Rangers bats intrigue me a little bit. Even the Phillies, intrigue me a little bit as well. So definitely interesting. Take your time with this one. If this video helped you, thumbs up, subscribe. I really appreciate you watching. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.